Amy Poehler has made me cry before, but not like this, guys. Hey y'all, today we are going to be reviewing Lucy and Desi, the newest documentary about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, their life, their love story, and the impact that they had not only on each other but in Hollywood as well. This film, as I said in my intro, is directed by Amy Poehler. Yes, Leslie Knope herself directed this one, guys. She has now moved on from the Parks Department and is now specializing in Hollywood history. That is correct. I'll start by saying that I think she did a fantastic job. I think there is something so intimate and personal about this documentary for a couple that most people in America either know because of I Love Lucy, or they remotely have some sort of idea of who these real life people behind these on-screen personas were. And of course, just recently, there's a biopic, and that is of course Being the Ricardos, which came out last December, also on Amazon Prime. This will make a fantastic double feature with that film. I'll elaborate more on that later. But I really think that Amy Poehler was able to find something so deeply personal in this film, and some of the archival footage that she uses is not just I Love Lucy clips. A lot of the footage she uses is like home archival family video type of footage, and a lot of that just makes it feel so personal and shows that while we all know them as the loving Ricardos on television, they had an even more passionate, crazy about each other love behind the scenes, and this look at it is so much more intimate. And I also think that that is added to not only by the different footage that I saw used here, but because of the occasional narration and interviews with Lucy and Desi's daughter, Lucy Arnaz, I forget her last name, but it will be on the screen here, who has actually created her own documentary about her parents, but she has been an executive producer on a lot of projects that talk about them, including Being the Ricardos. I guess nobody can really be as much of an expert about Lucy and Desi as their own daughter could be, but she just provides a lot of more personal look at her parents without really pulling any punches. She definitely doesn't serve to glamorize her parents or wipe them of all wrongs or act like their marriage was perfect. She's able to, as only a daughter can, find the light and the positivity in the darkness, or the things that when she saw her parents going through hard times, what actually did bring them joy, including how this documentary explores the fact that both of them went on to be married very happily for much longer than they had been together to other people afterwards. And so she gets to bring that kind of personal firsthand account of what that was like and give a little bit more authenticity and credibility to this documentary. Again, I think a lot of the greatness of this documentary is the humanization. Lucille Ball, literally one of the most iconic television personalities in all of American television history, and she was a completely different person in real life than that character of Lucy, despite having the same name. And I think same with Desi, we got to look at his start into the industry, both of theirs actually, and I loved that aspect of this film, of how it didn't start with them getting together and it didn't end with them getting divorced, but it showed their individual lives, where they crossed paths, and how despite the fact that they in marriage went separate ways later on in life, spoiler alert, they were constantly intermingled for the rest of their life, whether through work or their company, through their children, or just the fact that they had such a deep love for one another beyond even their marriage. This film really did get me emotional, and there are some scenes, especially the ending of the documentary, which I won't spoil, that it's so touching and beautiful, and you just get to look at this couple as two individuals who made mistakes in their life and their marriage, changed Hollywood forever. Not to beat a dead horse or sound like a broken record, but I feel like Amy Poehler and any of the other producers and editors on this film were able to use all of those elements to really just get such an intimate look at Lucy and Desi. If you watch the film, I would love if you would comment down below what you thought about it, because I really do think that this film has something really special about it. I think it would also be a really great double feature with Being the Ricardos, which is also an Amazon Prime original, so you kind of get two for the price of one here. Being the Ricardos is obviously fictionalized, but Being the Ricardos takes place over 1 week of shooting of an I Love Lucy episode, and it condenses three huge parts of Lucy and Desi's life. The week that Lucy finds out she's pregnant and is trying to get the CBS executives to allow them to film a season of I Love Lucy while she is pregnant on television. The week that Lucille Ball was accused of being a communist and having ties to the Communist Party. And then it also condenses stories, which there were several, but one particular story of Desi potentially cheating on Lucy or being spotted out with another woman, and that hitting the papers. And so while that film is obviously dramatized and really condenses a lot of subject matter into 1 week to add to a lot of tension, this film is able to look at everything not necessarily chronologically, but really just expand out and show how each of these events affected them, their work, and their marriage. If you want like a history lesson not only on television and how Lucy, Desi, and the Desilu Studios really shaped television and sitcoms and what we know of them today and how we think about classic American television, this film is not only great for that, but if you're trying to just get a more cohesive understanding of their lives and things that affected them as a couple, this film covers all of that so succinctly and still manages to add that intimate touch to it. With that all being said, I highly recommend you check out this documentary. Please be sure to like this review if you did enjoy it, and if you enjoy film reviews, please consider subscribing because I do a lot of those on this channel. Thank you all again for watching. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day or night whenever you're getting to watch this, and I will see you in my very next video. Bye everyone.